Oh, I feel great. It's gonna be one of my best victories in my career. Obviously, he's a great fighter. He's a legend. But it's gonna be good for my books.
I'm all about making.
Canelo Alvarez stirred controversy with a sharp prediction. Terence Crawford, he claimed, would rely on a defensive, evasive style in their potential showdown. But this wasn't just analysis, it was a calculated psychological strike. Canelo Alvarez, laced with pride and confidence, weren't meant merely to forecast strategy. They were designed to get ahead. By suggesting the American would retreat under pressure, Canelo Alvarez's mental chess match before the first bell has even rung, driven by the historic pursuit of becoming the first three-division undisputed champion, now faces not only the physical challenge of Canelo Alvarez, a growing war of words. The stakes are sky high, the tension is personal, and the build-up promises fire.
Like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. The Floyd, the Pacquiao, the De La Hoya. We both came up in that era, and he was right there with those fighters, and he got the chance to fight the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers, and the Kovalevs and Triple Gs, and I wasn't able to get those mega fights. So this is my mega fight, this is my moment.
The other side of the battlefield, Terence Crawford exuded a quiet yet unshakable determination, openly declaring his mission to reshape boxing history. Already a two-division undisputed champion, a rare feat in itself, Crawford made it known that a third was firmly in his sights. While he spoke respectfully of Canelo Alvarez, there was a noticeable shift in his tone, one of icy focus. And
I'm all about making history. I was the first two-time undisputed champion of the world, and I can assure you I'm gonna be the first three-time undisputed champion of the world. I respect Canelo, just like I respect every one of my other opponents before Canelo. But once it get close to that time, it's time to go to work, And when we go to work, y'all know what comes after that.
Unwavering resolve, just preparing for another high-profile fight. He was preparing to etch his name in the sport's highest tier. This bout, for him, wasn't about hype or headlines, it was about legacy. Sealed with no room for doubt, Canelo Alvarez stayed composed when asked about his legacy among boxing's all-time greats. Dismissing the need for lofty titles or comparisons, he insisted his accomplishments in the ring would speak louder than any words.
Go ahead, sir. Dana, you followed boxing so closely for decades.
But when the conversation turned to Terence Crawford, his demeanor hardened. With unwavering conviction, Canelo asserted that no matter the circumstances, he had no doubt he would come out victorious. Crawford may be able to withstand punishing power, but Canelo Alvarez acknowledged the real threat with his heavy hands, capable of causing serious damage. However,
a shot from Canelo. One of those uppercuts from Gia, or those.
He could get dropped, or he feels it enough to be like, fuck this, I'm boxing, and goes on the bicycle and turns southpaw for the rest of the night. And I wouldn't blame him either. Fuck it, you're gonna go in there, collect a fucking paycheck at that point.
Right.
You're not gonna go get hurt.
Right.
What good is it to get fucking 20, 30 million if you are fucking hurt physically, end up in the hospital and hurt just physically, life-changing, you don't want that shit.
You think Canelo can hurt him, or it could be life-changing?
Sure, he's that big, fool. One punch could fucking knock him out bad enough to hurt his eye socket or detach retina. You never fucking know.
Right.
So no one wants that shit.
Crawford said if he beats him, he's in the top 3 GOATs of all time.
Oh, for sure. If Crawford beats Canelo, then for sure.
However, he didn't hold back in praising Crawford either, stating that pulls off a win against Alvarez, it would catapult him into the conversation as one of the top 3 fighters in boxing history. Can Canelo Alvarez's legendary chin endure the pinpoint precision of Terence Crawford's striking? Unlike pure power punchers, Crawford's knockouts often come from timing and surgical accuracy. One well-placed shot that shifts the entire fight. Showbiz the adult questioned the narrative of Canelo's invincibility, pointing to Crawford's ability to end bouts with a single, unexpected strike. The question now lingers, could Crawford be the one to finally crack Canelo's iron defense? Unfazed and laser-focused.
Who you like in this fight? Canelo. Why? Because Bud had to move up 3 classes? Yes. And in the history of boxing, I've never seen anybody move up 2 classes and be successful. What Roy did. I mean, but not in one jump, not in one leap.
Right.
It was here, light, heavyweight, fight a few fights, okay, heavyweight. We talking about, he just fought 147, one fight ago.
Right.
And then you gonna fight at 168?
Yeah. 'Cause did he fight his last fight at 54?
Yes, just one fight.
Right. And so now he go from 54 to 60 to 68.
Right.
And then he don't have a rehydration clause, so Canelo might be 180. 185, 190.
190.
You
So
think he thinks he can outbox Canelo.
I think he can
Terence Crawford made his intentions unmistakably clear. He wanted Canelo Alvarez, and he wanted him now, referring to Canelo as the last great figure of a fading golden era. Crawford spoke with both respect and purpose. While he acknowledged Alvarez's legacy, he emphasized that this was his time. In Crawford's eyes, defeating Canelo wouldn't just be another win, it would be the defining chapter of his already remarkable career. However, not everyone is convinced that Terence Crawford can conquer this monumental challenge. Rapper and boxing enthusiast Lil Yachty voiced strong skepticism.
It's Terence Crawford, yeah? But the weight, I'm leaning toward Canelo, because, you know, I think it's going to suit Canelo more, the weight advantage. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford won, and I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo won. Not sitting on the fence, it's just that, but if I have to lean towards someone, it would be Canelo because of the weight.
Placing his confidence firmly in Canelo Alvarez, Yachty questioned whether Crawford could realistically manage the massive leap across 3 weight divisions to face a naturally bigger and more physically imposing opponent. He emphasized that history hasn't been kind to fighters making such drastic jumps without rehydration clauses to even the playing field.
I think that Crawford is too small. Canelo is, in my opinion, the face of boxing right now. I think that look at his resume. I think it's a good fight for a little while. Crawford's hand speed will, just like when Golovkin fought Kell Brook, the hand speed was evident at the beginning of the fight. But as the fight goes on, Canelo's going to start pounding on him, and I think that the fight ends somewhere between the 9th and 12th round.
You really think because of the size difference?
Field in past attempts. Similar moves have often exposed even the most skilled boxers to significant disadvantage in power and durability. According to Yachty, this isn't just a matter of skill, it's about size, strength, and whether Crawford's frame can withstand the physicality that comes with fighting someone like Canelo. Canelo's mass.
He can stop Crawford.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that anything Canelo hits him with is going to hurt him. He won't be able to catch him early because, like I said, the speed and the foot speed and the hand speed. And Crawford's a heck of a fighter at his own weight. 54, when he fought Madrimov in his last fight, showed us that he can't really, the weight makes a difference. I don't care how much weight he gains and how much he does to try to get up to that level, 168.
Power and presence in the ring are no joke. Yachty noted, we're not just talking about a good big guy versus a good little guy. We're talking about a great big guy who's been in with killers, and a smaller guy who's never had to deal with that kind of raw physicality. Yachty went on to say that, while Crawford's talent is undeniable and his accomplishments are legendary.
Canelo, Crawford's gonna have to, move up, and I know when I bought Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting the middleweight, a mediocre world champion is okay, but when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but Crawford's very, very, very good. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet. He's cute with how he approaches, chucking shots and moving.
Legendary. The odds may shift heavily against him the moment he steps into the ring with a fully rehydrated and power-loaded Canelo. In Yachty's eyes, the physical gap, not the skill gap, could be the decisive factor. In the end, Yachty's view reflects the uncertainty surrounding this unprecedented clash. It's not just a test of greatness, it's a battle between physics and finesse, between legacy and limits, and for some, that makes Canelo Alvarez the safer bet.
Known in his last few fights that he's just a businessman. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the big check. But again, if Canelo really fights, because I think safe to say Terence always fights. He doesn't know anything else. So then it could be a very good, interesting fight. What Canelo is going to show up? The Canelo who's looking to cash a big check, or the Canelo that really wants to fight like a fighter? Now the Canelo we've seen the last 2 years is not only boring, but doesn't really have an incentive to mix it up and to entertain people with a good...
By suggesting the American would retreat under pressure, Canelo Alvarez's mental chess match before the first bell has even rung, driven by the historic pursuit of becoming the first three-division undisputed champion, now faces not only the physical challenge of Canelo Alvarez, a growing war of words. The stakes are sky high. The tension is personal, and the build...
They want to say it, but look at Canelo. Canelo is still the man.
Yes.
You know?
He's been for a long, long time.
And he jumps in there and he does it and he goes to work, and it's hard to stay at that level for a very long time. And Canelo's another guy. I mean, what's this guy clipping?
Up promises fireworks. Clips in the other side of the battlefield. Terence Crawford exuded a quiet yet unshakable determination, openly declaring his mission to reshape boxing history. Already a two-division undisputed champion, a rare feat in itself, Crawford made it known that a third was firmly in his sights. While he spoke respectfully of Canelo Alvarez, there was a noticeable shift in his tone, one of icy focus.
Going to win, but I don't like what I've seen in the last couple of fights from Canelo. To him, I'm just saying, right? They're both, in my opinion, gently on the decline. Yeah, gently, and that's not disrespectful because I'm a huge Crawford fan, huge Crawford fan. But he's still
focus and unwavering resolve, just preparing for another high-profile fight. He was preparing to etch his name in the sport's highest tier. This bout, for him, wasn't about hype or headlines, it was about legacy. Sealed with no room for doubt, Canelo Alvarez stayed composed when asked about his legacy among boxing's all-time greats, dismissing the need for lofty titles or comparisons. He insisted his accomplishments in the ring would speak louder than any words. But when the conversation turned to Terence Crawford, his demeanor hardened. With unwavering conviction, Canelo asserted that no matter the circumstances,
Crawford in the fight, or has your opinion changed?
I mean, I've always favoured Canelo.
Well, I've heard that you want Canelo to win, but you
of course, yeah. I like Terence. I've worked a lot with Canelo, and I think just because of what I saw in Riyadh, and because of the threat, and he's getting on as well, of course, but just like the mindset, of course. Like, there's no doubt in Terence Crawford's got the mind that he wins this fight. And when you spend a bit of time with him, you start buying into that. And I guess that's what happened in Riyadh, because I've travelled with him to the fight. And, you know, but it's a 50-50 fight. I think gun to head, I'm probably picking Crawford right now. But I want Canelo to win. I think he can win for sure. But Terence is going to make it really tricky and awkward for him. I don't think.
he had no doubt he would come out victorious. Crawford may be able to withstand punishing power, but Canelo Alvarez acknowledged the real threat with his heavy hands, capable of causing serious damage. However, he didn't hold back in praising Crawford either, stating that pulls off a win against Alvarez